Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys exclusive Star Wars 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Today we're taking a look at the Gold Chrome Clone Trooper. Now I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped the link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new Hot Toys Star Wars figure review goes live on the channel. As for the box art, front and center we've got an image of the Chrome Gold Clone Trooper wearing his Phase 2 bucket, a metallic foil Star Wars logo, and a metallic foil Hot Toys exclusive sticker. Then down below, a glossy wraparound banner so that it does contrast against the satin finish for the rest of the artwork, featuring another image of the Chrome Gold clone, this time wearing his Phase 1 helmet. And in the background, a gold-tinted gunship. Because why the hell not? You're making a Chrome Gold clone, you may as well just have fun with it. Make all of the rest of the artwork gold as well. Speaking of which, we have another image of the gunship on the wraparound banner, and one more product shot of the Chrome Gold Clone Trooper. Around the back, warnings, legal information, and Hot Toy store locations. If you're sitting there thinking, Justin, why do you keep doing this to yourself? We know you don't love these Chrome clones. And yeah, you're right, I don't. It's no secret at this point, these Chrome Clone Troopers just don't do it for me. But I am hoping that one day I'm going to unbox one of these and it's going to be bloody brilliant. And I'm going to say, you see, that's why I persisted. That's why I keep collecting these chrome bastards. But as of yet, that hasn't happened. Also, I'm a completionist, so if I pick up one or two chrome clones, I do feel obliged to pick up the rest of them, just so we can do comparisons and maybe they look better as a group versus individually. On the slipcover, speaking of a group, we have two Chrome clones, Phase 1 and Phase 2, Hot Toys being pretty cheeky, trying to get you to pick up multiples, even though these are exclusive, so it will be very expensive if you do decide to do that. First in-hand impressions for the Chrome Gold Clone Trooper. He is very shiny, and the gold is quite saturated. What we are going to do now, though, is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, which is done in their hexagonal style. This is in keeping with what we've received with the other Chrome clones and the sequel trilogy figures, but with all of the normal clone troopers, we get the rectangular bases. So I would have preferred if they'd done this exact print on a rectangle base. It still works for me though, it matches, like I said, the rest of the Chrome clone bases. Up on top, we've got this textured finish for the black parts, whereas the Republic cog is done in a gold chrome, which is fitting. Then around the front, Star Wars and Clone Trooper. Up top, an adjustable crotch grabber. We will try out both of these helmets on the clone later. For now, just know that we get a Phase 1 bucket and a Phase 2. Now, Hot Toys. Come on. You're giving us a jetpack, but no blast effects. This clearly is meant just for show. We're never meant to actually have him look like he's using the jetpack or flying, because they don't give us blast effects, and that is bloody annoying. Maybe one day they can sell blast effects in a pack or something. The sculpt work is sharp, but the gold chrome paint, then that frosted finish over the top, does round out a lot of the edges, making this thing look less detailed than other clone jetpacks. And if you're wondering if you can remove the rocket, I tried, you can't. When it comes to weaponry, we do get the usual suspects, the DC-15 blaster carbine. The stock still cannot be a stock. We've got washers in the sculpt rivets, and a silver dry brush over the top. The iron sights are made of rubbery plastic, so you don't have to worry about them when you're wedging this thing into his hand, or if you accidentally put pressure on them when you're posing him. Then the much larger DC-15 blaster rifle is, in fact, quite large. There's also silver dry brushing on it, and some added paint applications around the front to look like it's been superheated as this thing has been fired on the battlefield. Lastly, the usual stingy array of Hot Toys Clone Trooper hands. We get two trigger finger hands with the matte finish for the gloves, then the shiny gold armor plating on the back of them, but only one finger pointing gesture hand for the left side. Then on the right side, we've got the two finger pointing hand. Another one-off solo gesture, it's a thumbs up hand for the left side. And then not even pairs of open palm hands. We only get one for the left, whereas on the right, we've got the splayed out finger hand. What we are going to do now, though, is get the chrome gold clone trooper himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. It's the same old tried and true Hot Toys Clone Trooper body, a ribbed black fabric bodysuit, the same mold for the Clone Trooper armor, and this time it's painted in chrome gold. That's pretty much it. It does what it says on the tin, it's a chrome gold clone trooper. So if this is something that you've been just hankering for, you've been waiting for this beautiful looking specimen to enter your collection, then absolutely go for it. If you think this is the most gaudy, hideous thing that you've ever seen, then potentially skip this one. I don't quite know how I feel about him right now. I'm going to have to let my thoughts simmer and develop throughout the course of the video. Sounds like a bit of a cop-out, I know. Up close and personal, kicking things off with his Phase 1 helmet. This is the exact same Phase 1 helmet mold that they've been using since the very beginning, which means they've made no changes and no improvements. The mouth is still completely inaccurate, it's supposed to come down to a sharp point, which it doesn't. And I think the head still looks too large on the body. I mean, you can see that, right? It looks like someone's turned on big head mode in LEGO Star Wars. You can pop his jetpack on, which helps a bit because the spikes stick out over his traps, filling in the white space. It doesn't solve the issue entirely for me. In a dynamic pose, you can work with it and it looks a bit better. In a neutral pose, maybe not so much. At least the detail is sharp. The black line is nice and crisp, you've got the sculpted little vents on the side, the detail in his mouth area, and the visor is a separate piece of glossy plastic, which has been inset into the sculpt, so that line around the edge does cast an actual shadow in there. It's not like the visor has just been painted in glossy black paint. Around the back, they have forgotten to paint the red line up on top for the fin. I'm okay with that in this instance because I don't think the red on the gold would look all that fantastic anyway. Oh, this is way better. The Phase 2 helmet properly fits on the body. It sits lower on the neck connector and it's correctly scaled. The visor is done in the same way as the Phase 1 helmet, so there's an actual gap around the edge. It's a separate piece of glossy plastic. Paintwork and the little grill details in the mouth are sharp, same thing with the vents around the front. And you've got some pops of grey and black in the various little accent pieces dotted around the helmet. I'm sorry I used the generic term accent pieces, it's just that I don't know how to describe the full anatomy of a clone trooper helmet. The slit across the back, the grey band, the black one, the grey pieces on his ears, the grill. So accent pieces is what I'm going to go with. We do have some sculpted detail on his back armor plate, which is hidden when you apply the jetpack, but because there's this foam pad on the back of it, you don't have to worry about the two pieces colliding and scratching up the paint applications. I do wish this had some kind of other connector that would sit over the top of this ledge and underneath, just like we saw with Cody's jetpack, because this one doesn't like to stay in place perfectly. If you happen to bump this while you're posing him, it doesn't self-correct, it'll move around and it will be sitting there at an angle. It is removable though, so if you don't want it there, you can just ditch it entirely. Back around the front, the best way I can describe the gold finish is... I take back what I said earlier. It's not shiny, it's more so metallic. It's reflective in a slightly different way than it would be if it was actually chrome. So they've vacuum metallized chrome plated these armor pieces, but then they've hit it with almost this matte or satin clear coat over the top. They've done that to protect it and also prevent fingerprints. If this guy was real shiny chrome like the original Chrome Stormtroopers Hot Toys gave us, it would be a fingerprint magnet. I would not have been able to get through this review without wearing some kind of cotton gloves or something. So the satin finish over the top, now that I understand why it's here, I'm on board with it. The armor plates are mostly free floating, the shoulder pads are attached with these elastic straps. And underneath them, we do have the stretchy ribbed fabric bodysuit, so no screen printing, no rubbery stuff, you don't have to worry about it when it comes to posing. The belt is made of a rubbery plastic and it is free floating, so you can adjust it up and down. But what's interesting to me is that this being made out of a completely different material to the hard plastic sculpted armor pieces, and the same thing can be said for the straps on the elbow pads and around the back for the knee pads. Getting the finish to match for the different materials cannot have been easy. But they do, you get the same level of sheen and the same level of saturation to the gold. Now he does have a comms pad on the right side, but not the left. His thigh plates do stick out quite far around the front, which is good for articulation, and he has more of that ribbed fabric bodysuit poking out from underneath the diaper piece and just above the thigh plates. The knee pads are free floating, and then we get to the feet. So I was just praising them for the color match for the other rubbery pieces, not the feet. For some reason, these are significantly more saturated compared to everything else, and I have no idea why. I hope it's just mine and your copy is perfect. It's not too much of an eyesore, but you can see that. Yeah, this is much more of a warm tone gold versus the slightly cooler tone for everything else. On the underside, you got some sculpted tread. For a quick side-by-side comparison, on the left, the gold Chrome Phase 2 Clone Trooper, and on the right, the silver Chrome Phase 2 Clone Trooper. Do they look good together? Yeah, I think they do. Do they make sense in my collection? No, not really. Maybe as we slowly but surely get more chrome clones, a bronze one perhaps, then we can have bronze, silver, and gold. That will make sense to some people. I'm really struggling to find a spot for these. If you have any ideas, just weigh in the comments section below. Going over articulation, starting off with his helmet. It is on a double ball peg and an articulated neck with a ball joint at the bottom. Combined, looking forward to there, looking up to there, swivel and pivot side to side. The shoulder pads are on elastic straps and they will tuck up underneath the chest armor for a little bit more range. The arms will go up to there. Going forward and back, there's a butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend on ratchets at the elbow, and if you do want to get a few more clicks out of it, you can tuck the rubbery strap for the elbow guard up underneath the bicep armor, and then you'll get a little bit more range. For the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. The torso crunches forward to there, going back to there it does get quite gappy, swivel and pivot side to side. The legs will go forward on soft ratchets to there before the thigh plate collides with the diaper piece, but you can rotate it, and then you'll get a couple more clicks. Going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Ratcheted double bend at the knee, and just like the elbow guard, you can tuck this rubbery strap underneath the armor plating, then the knee will bend a little bit more. And lastly, a double ball peg for the ankles. Good for forward and back, swivel, as well as plenty of ankle tilt. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing is, for some of the pieces, in certain areas, the gold paint coverage isn't 100% opaque. You can see the base color showing through, especially in little nooks and crannies like this area of the jetpack right here. The second annoying thing is, Hot Toys, they just astound me at how stingy they are. Once again, we don't have pairs for the most basic of hands. An open palm hand? I mean, come on, clones are supposed to be ambidextrous. Which means if you want to have him holding the blaster in his left hand and cupping the barrel in his right, it's just not possible with the hands that they give us. The third annoying thing is, you see, Hot Toys are sitting on a gold mine with this Clone Trooper mold. And I don't mean in the sense that they should continue to paint this thing in gold. Don't take it literally, Hot Toys, please. This exclusive could have very easily been a plain white Clone Trooper, a slightly weathered one, Waxer, Boyle, Fives, Echo. You name it, there are a bunch of Phase 1 and Phase 2 clones that I reckon Hot Toys should have made over and above these stupid chrome variants. The first cool thing is we get a Phase 1 and a Phase 2 bucket. The second cool thing, he does get a jetpack, even if it doesn't come with included blast effects. The third cool thing is something that took a while to grow on me. When I reviewed my first ever chrome clone, which was the silver one, I didn't love this frosted finish over the top of the vacuum metallized chrome armor. Now, I get it. It's an added clear barrier, a layer of protection, if you will. So when you're posing him and the pieces are rubbing up against one another because the tolerances are quite tight, you're not going to scratch anything, and the paint isn't going to chip off. It also helps limit fingerprints. Wrapping up on the gold chrome Clone Trooper. I really don't know how to feel about this figure. There are certain things that I like, such as the finish. He's shiny but dull at the same time. Like, you get the reflections, but you don't get the glare, if you know what I mean. They've added this frosted finish over the top of the vacuum metallized chrome, which still allows it to be vibrant and shiny, but it's not gonna get scratched or too fingerprinty as long as you're careful with it. So that I do like. You also get the Phase 1 and Phase 2 buckets, plus a jetpack, which is a nice bonus. Everything else, like the whole idea of this figure existing, and the fact that Hot Toys continue to skimp out on hands, I do not love. Maybe if you have a very specific spot in mind in your collection next to C-3PO perhaps, this guy will work for you. Or if you're a huge Chrome clone fan, you have all of the other ones and the Chrome Stormtroopers, this guy's a no-brainer. For me, I'm struggling to find a spot to put this guy in my display. I'm all about screen accuracy and the source material that these figures are based off, and this is Hot Toys' own weird creation. They love Chrome, they love Star Wars, they love Clone Troopers, they merged it all together into this super strange, out there concept that some people hate and some people love. I don't think there's a middle ground here. I think you're either going to adore it or despise it. Do weigh in down in the comments below. It's a chrome gold clone. It's there if you want it. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. I have popped a link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.